Now it is. Okay, so this is for cold calling, which can cause a little bit of hesitation, but there's no need to, because we're just focusing on disqualifying as opposed to going through a qualification process as we try to find the right people we want to work with, which is high integrity, high connector, high giver are the type of people that we want to meet with, that people that we want to work with are those individuals that are typically, when you're cold calling, we're looking for ambassadors, people that are going to be referral sources for us. And so there's some resources you can use at the firm here where you'll have access to lead sources like commercial brokers, banks, associations. You can sort of go to LoopNet, you go on LinkedIn. There's a lot of different ways to connect with people as you make your 20 to 25 calls per day. A couple of things to just think about is when you're calling somebody up, you have to ask yourself the question is, what do they, what are you doing? What am I accomplishing here? What's that conversation going to look like? And so there's a few things to just take into consideration, which is one, you might catch somebody at the wrong time. That's okay. So the first thing when I always call is I'm always asking somebody, hey, this is Dave Cotter with Integrity Capital. We're a commercial real estate finance company in town. I just wanted to reach out and introduce myself. Do you have a minute or two? There might be a variation of that, but you're trying to be gracious to people and recognizing that they might not have the time. The reason why that's an important place to start is A, it shows a level of respect and graciousness. You're not going to be the annoying, cold caller that's just sort of can't get off the phone and keeps saying, can't catch the hint, isn't catching on to somebody that doesn't want to talk with you. You want to realize that we're trying to develop good long-term relationships. So if somebody wants to get off the phone fast, you may say, would there be a better time to follow up with you? And chances are you're going to get a pretty good sense if they don't want to talk to you again. That's okay. And it's just time to move on. So that's sort of tranche number one. You might get somebody to just, give them the opportunity to say, not a good time. If they do say, hey, yeah, give me a call back, tomorrow. Great. Mark it in your database, put them in the database with their information, and put a task to follow up with them tomorrow. So, and do follow through. Because if you don't follow through, that's also going to tell something about you as well to them, which is, they might be testing you. Is this person persistent? Are they going to follow through or not? So the first thing you want to do is give some graciousness to people and realize that it may not be a good time. Maybe they are interested, they want to talk to you later, and just go ahead and follow up with them at the appropriate time. Or if they just say no, then move on. That's completely fine. If somebody is willing to talk, which there will be, then what you want to do is you want to start as quickly as you can as migrating to what it is that they are focusing on. What is their niche? So if I'm talking to a broker, you might want to say, hey, I'm curious, like, what's your niche, or what do you focus on, or what is, important to you, or what are you really trying to accomplish? But before that, you might have to give a little bit of a snapshot of who you are and why you're calling. So, my name's Dave. I'm with Integrity Capital, or commercial mortgage finance company, and we wanted to reach out and just introduce ourselves, talk a little bit about how we might be able to partner together on some things, how we might be able to help you on what you're trying to accomplish. People are interested about themselves. So you're probably not going to spend a ton of time on yourself. You might give a little high-level snapshot, and then you try to redirect that conversation back to them by asking questions. What's your niche? What do you focus on? What are you trying to achieve? What are some areas that could be real helpful when it comes to financing for you? Would it be helpful if you got a rate sheet? Is there anything that would be very beneficial for you? So you're really trying to be a question asker for this individual to gather some facts about them. They might say, yeah, I focus on, apartment industries for this range and size. So you want to drill down more into that to understand who's your ideal client. What is it that, how do you generate leads? What is it that you do to get business? So make it about them and not so much about you. The beauty of that through the questions that you ask is that you start to find out real quick whether this is somebody that you want to continue dialogue with as well. Because if they're gracious and they show some integrity and some other factors, then eventually they might start asking you, well, what do you focus on? How can I help you? And it might not happen on the first conversation, but eventually it could migrate to that. And so you're going to spend some time just trying to understand who they are. If they start asking you questions about what it is you focus on, then you can reference your call sheet that you'll have access to go back to saying, these are the products we focus on, these are the asset types we focus on, this is sort of what we're going after, and so you'll just give a quick snapshot of those things. Probably not going to be a long conversation, maybe 5-10 minutes max. Or we might be surprised. We might have somebody that has something right now they want to talk about. And so if so, you can go back through and begin to start to get some information from them as you go through sizing of transactions. A few other things, obviously, we always want to focus on calling in the morning with people. We want to, again, ask questions. We want to be gracious with them. We want to have their information logged in the database. Prior to calling, you might want to look at the database and just make sure that they're not already in there or someone's not already talking to them. But you want to log them into the database. You want to take good notes. You want to follow up and follow through. That's one of our tenets here, is to follow up and follow through. And you always want to try to leave the call with some sort of level of commitment. And if you can, it's okay. We should always try to get commitment. And here's what I mean by that. And by the way, most of the people you call, at least on the commercial brokerage side, they're cold calling all day. So, they're not going to be overly shocked by getting a cold call from somebody. But don't be okay with it. You might run into some jerks. That's going to happen. And don't take it personally. Just kind of move on. Somebody could have had a bad day. Maybe it's just who they are. Just move on and move to the next. And don't take it personally because it's not about you. The commitment is going to look something like this. And here's personally what I would like all of you to do is, hey, do you think there's a time we could grab a cup of coffee? Would you ever have some time if I come to your neck of the woods to meet with you to grab a cup of coffee, just to get to know more about what you're doing there? That's what you're trying to accomplish, because pressing the flesh is important. You meet them face to face. You get to understand more. There's just more dynamic and relationship that happens within that face to face. If the answer is no, then what you might want to ask them is say, would it make sense for me to follow up with you every so often? Maybe once every couple of months, or what would sort of work for you? If you got a no on the coffee, and then it's more of a, yeah, just I'll reach out to you. Maybe this isn't somebody that's gonna be a fit or not. But you're purposely and intentionally in your conversation trying to get to a place where you're finding out if really they're going to be a partnership or not. So asking those commitment questions is going to help you understand, follow up with me, maybe 3 months, and love to keep talking. Perfect. Put it on your tickler. Put it on your task list. Make sure you follow up with them. And then you do the same thing. Once you follow up, hey, it's Dave. If you remember me, I touched base with you 3 months. We kind of talked about this and this and this. I just wanted to check in, see if there's anything I can do to help you, anything I can do to connect you with. And again, that's how you want to try to end that call, is with a level of commitment, gathering some information from them and then understanding them. Once you do that, what I would encourage you as we end the session on this is send them a card. Just write him a little note. It's going to take you 2 minutes. Get his address or her address, drop it in the mail. I cannot begin to tell you how unique you will be if you send a card. Nobody ever does that, rarely. I can't tell you the last time I got a card. It's a really nice touch to send somebody a card. Thank you for the conversation today. Really appreciate it. Meant a lot. Hope we can, work together. They don't get those. So that's a great way for you to send a great aroma to them. And so hopefully these are just helpful little tips and tools for you as you pick that phone up and start making some calls to people and developing those relationships and identifying and finding the people that you're trying to work with.